Oh, it's a beautiful day. I am resting. I just finished cleaning out a duck coop. The goats are out doing what they do. It is really warm today. I'm sitting here in a tank top in late February. I'm not really here to talk about the goats or the ranch or anything. I want to tell my USAID story. And it's not really my story, it's actually my dad's, but he's not around to tell it, so I will tell it. In around 1990, my dad got a contract that was funded through USAID, and I don't know if he owned the contract or if he was hired by whoever got the contract, but he ended up working a project in a small village in Uganda on the African continent. And the project was an agricultural project, and he was really proud of it. The reason for the project was these villagers, and we're talking very, very poor people, they were being taken advantage of by the European flower market. I was not even aware there was such a thing. Honestly, when he told me, yeah, they're being taken advantage of by the European flower market, I thought, oh, that is very random. But what happened was the European flower buyers would come into a poor village. It's pretty much rainforest there in Uganda. They can grow a lot of things. And they convinced these farmers to grow flowers for the European flower market. They showed them how many plants they needed per acre, how many flowers, blooms, whatever they could get per plant, and how much money they would get per bloom. And it was impressive. It was very impressive. So a whole bunch of farmers in an area would plant the flowers that the market people told them to plant, and they would work the soil. And when I say work the soil, I mean you're talking mostly women. The men in these villages did not do the work, the women did. So you've got a pregnant woman with a toddler at her side and an infant strapped to her. And she's working a hoe, huge hoes, these things were heavy, in clay soil a lot of times, just to be able to plant and work her farm. And she's working from sun up to sundown and then going home and taking care of the whole family. Her husband was sitting on somebody's front porch or in a bar drinking banana beer. So that was one thing that really bothered my dad. But I got ahead of myself. What happened when all these flowers were harvested and taken to market was the buyers would tell the farmers, oh, supply and demand. Because all of these flowers came in at the same time, the demand doesn't match the supply. So the price we told you we would be paying you for these flowers is actually going to be significantly less. And they would give the farmers significantly less money than they had been promised. And the farmers would go home with not enough money to feed their families through the non-growing season. And it was causing starvation and desperation in these communities, in these villages, with these very hardworking women who were just being worked to death for nothing. So my dad was approached, or maybe he read about it. This was before much internet, so I don't think he read about it online. He got a lot of magazines and things, so maybe he read about it in one of his periodicals. And he told someone that he would like to go into that region and plant sugar snap peas because the climate in this part of Uganda was very similar to the climate on California's central coast, where sugar snap peas were all the rage in the 1990s. I mean, they were amazing, and the European market wanted sugar snap peas. So he worked a deal where he would teach these farmers how to grow sugar snap peas for the market, and they would get way more money than they could get even if the flower market had come through with the original price. And he also told them, if for some reason there was no market at least they could eat the product that they had grown. So my dad's USAID project had him in Uganda for months at a time. He would come home on respite occasionally, and then he would go back. And he was really, really proud of the project that he worked with USAID. So that was my first experience with a USAID project, was through my dad. And I never would have thought that it would have become what it became, because his project really was about helping very poor people in a tiny village in southern Uganda, right next to the Rwandan border. And he was just all about helping these poor farmers and ultimately helping these poor women who were working so hard to grow flowers that had no value by the time they went to market. So I'm really proud of my dad's USAID project. I am not proud of what USAID has become. It makes me sick to think about all the damage the money has caused. Instead of helping people in poor villages, it's actually hurt entire nations, and it's just awful. But I wanted to tell a positive USAID story because there are so many negative ones going around right now. And I also wanted to show you how my goats handle a hot day. I haven't even fed them breakfast yet. I just let them out. They are not even hungry. They still have some of last night's dinner in their stomachs, I'm sure. But it's too hot for them. It's in the probably low to mid 70s right now. And they're kind of tired, kind of hot. Well, you guys have a great day. If you don't mind, hit the like button, share if you want to share my USAID story with anybody. And if you want to give me a follow, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That would be great. I usually talk about the animals. This is the first time I have talked about USAID. But, you know, we came from a family of plant people. So farming, ranching, things like that are just part of us. And my dad is definitely the reason for that in me. So I wanted to honor him with that story. I miss you, Dad.